folks. This is the Debating Dads podcast. This is episode 2, Dating as a Dad. I'm your man, Natter. So, man, Josh.
Hey.
So, man, Quincy.
What's up?
If you didn't remember, we are the Brolit Factory, also known as G Unit.
Oh my god.
Oh man, come on. Don't do that. Come on.
How do you go from B to G?
Okay, so we're not G Unit.
If you said B unit, that would make sense. Like, come on, bro.
There you go. So we're the
No, we're not.
No, we're not the B Unit.
We're not.
So today's
I'm
podcast.
gonna cut that out.
See, he's gonna everything gets edited in post. So today's episode looks at maybe a lighter slice of life, and we are dads, yes, but we are also men looking out there for the one. And so, what does life look like when you're trying to find love with kids in tow? We aren't sort of chicks in a rom-com or white dudes from all those like Hallmark movies you see every Christmas where like some good-looking guy with awesome hair comes to town to rescue the mom who works at a radio station who's given up on love. Doesn't work like that in Toronto for sure, where we're from. So like, let's get into it. Quincy, what are some of your most interesting experiences while dating as a dad?
The one that really stood out was a few years back. I ended up dating this girl, very pretty girl, great personality, very
great personality. What does that mean? Like,
yeah, just very
attractive,
minded, fun, just very, very just a cool person, cool human being, man. Like, it's great to bring around the guys and everything. Like, she was really cool. But
I never met her.
Well, she was Asian. I had to keep away from
That's
you.
probably why.
That's probably why. It's not a fetish; it's a lifestyle.
That's right. Tell him again.
I had to keep her away from you, man.
Since kindergarten, bro. Since kindergarten, it's been inside. I don't know what it is. I just love it. The Asian women. It's a thing.
Anyway, so everything was good. She accepted the fact that I had 2 kids with different women, and she was okay with it. She wasn't the jealous type. We just really had a good friendship / pending relationship, right? But
pending.
What is this, like when you're printing, Quincy, and it gets stuck in the queue? It's like print job pending?
Well, you see,
the commitment is pending. Please hold.
It's like that circle window about to refresh.
Just hold my cock. Just hold it. It's pending. Don't worry. The commitment's coming.
it's loading,
Literally.
But yeah, so reason why I say pending, because when you get to know each other, you kind of certain things pop up, and sometimes you're like, do I really want to be around this? Do I really want to get involved? So yeah, with this situation now, this was some real movie style gangster shit that was happening, man. And
like what kind of gangster? Like Casino or like Boys in the Hood gangster?
I forgot the name
Is
of
that
the movie.
is that like a Romeo Must Die?
Are you
or
a
something?
Romeo Must Die? With Jet Li and Aaliyah?
No.
That doesn't sound like to
love
me.
that movie.
That was pretty
I
good.
love
No, this
Romeo
is an older movie.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
See if
That's
I
fine.
can
That's
find
fine.
the title for it.
It's
But
not Romeo Must Die, but still, that was
No.
amazing.
people ended up dying in that movie. So
I hope they didn't die in this story.
nah, I had to cut that. I had to cut that story short, man. It's you have kids, so you have to kind of think about other things other than yourself, right? There are situations. when someone is involved in well, not directly involved, but people around her involved in shady stuff, you kind of have to exit the situation, right? And find something that's more family friendly. So that's what eventually ended up happening. And you know what? It was a bummer, but what can you do? You know, safety first. You gotta look out for your kids first. You know, you don't want to end up chilling together, and the next thing you know, people roll up and you're gone.
Get kidnapped real quick. Like the ransom.
Where the hell is Quincy? We haven't seen him for days, and then I show up in a barrel or something.
No. And not like the good kind, like where Donkey Kong's throwing you, like the mafia kind.
Oh, yeah, the mafia kind of with the acid, you know.
You're gonna have to call fucking Liam Neeson, bro. With his special.
By the way, Liam Neeson's the worst father talents in the world. That guy should not have family or children.
That guy is the greatest father in the world. Yeah, they got abducted. He got him back. That's all that matters.
Well, it would be you guys coming for me, so you know that's the thing. You know that's what I would expect. You know,
it's like the worst buddy film in the world. Josh and I do.
It'd be like, I don't know where to start, guy. I don't know where to start.
Like, where's his phone?
He has his phone.
So Quincy, did that sort of experience? Did that scar you a bit, or did that like give you a lesson that like it's the kids before me? Like, as much as I may like someone, it's the kids have got to come first.
I would take it more as a lesson. That's not the only weird situation that I've been in. I mean, you know, but it just makes you realize that you can't just think of yourself. You know, I mean, if I didn't have any kids, you know, it may have been a different situation for me, and I would have made a different decision. You know, because, you know, we can be stupid sometimes and just be like run into the fire, like kind of thing. But
that's why I like to keep the women and the children separate for like a long time, because you know.
But I mean, when you get into involved with someone, your intentions would actually be to move forward with them, right? So eventually, you would have to know your kids and get comfortable, and so you can actually see whether or not they're really a good fit for you.
Well,
I haven't been there yet, so.
Well, I think Josh brings up an interesting point, and just when you first meet someone, is it like what variable are you putting first? Some people want the click with them first, and then let's see if the kids fit. Some people want to, you know, say, "Will you fit in my life?" Like Josh. So what are your, you know, you'd mentioned that you keep, let's say, a woman and the kids separate at the beginning.
Most definitely.
Give me an interesting story from one of your escapades.
I don't know, like, you know, like internet dating, to meet this woman, and she's like, yeah, she's cool. You gotta meet up. So we meet up at the bar, and like, I don't really drink, so and plus I drove. I can't be, you know, irresponsible. So we're there at the bar, and we're just hanging out, and then like, she starts getting loose, yo. Like, she just starts drinking. I don't know if she was nervous or what, or maybe she's just an alcoholic. Who knows? And we're at the bar, and there's just like a bunch of dudes in this like weird bar off Yonge Street, and she just like starts trying to kiss me, and I'm just like, yo, like, calm down, yo, like, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm like, yo, let's just move this to the booth, like, because, you know, I'm shy. I don't want to be like, man, there's some chick at the bar.
Who's shy?
Me.
You're right.
Come on. So anyways. So we take it to the booth. So at the booth, you know, now we're like messing around. So I'm just like, I gotta go, whatever. Let me go back to the car. I think I was a driver home. And then we're in the parking lot, and then she just starts to like, you know, like, you know, like. So anyways, and
if anyone's seen the movie Thinner, do you remember that scene?
But I didn't run over anybody because I was parked in the parking lot.
Thank God.
So either way, that was okay. She seemed like maybe she's just nervous. So we went on another date. And this date was like, hey, come over to my house and let's hang out.
Wait, hold on. You said she seemed nervous?
I don't know. Maybe she was nervous. That's why she was drinking.
I was nervous?
Well, she was loose by the end of the night.
No.
Right? So either way, so the next date now, date number 2 or 3, or I can't remember. So we're at her place, and we're there, and like she's just like kind of like pounces on me like an animal, and I was just like, oh, this is nice. I'm not used to like women just like attacking me. It's just like a new experience. But then she started like growling, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird. and then, and then she like took off my shirt, and like, cause like I don't like shave because like I'm a man, and she's just like, oh my god, you get hair, it's hairy, you're like a big bear, and I'm just like, okay, and she's just like growl for me, and I was like, yeah, no thanks. And she started licking like my chest and like my armpits.
Did she put?
Yo, there was no I don't think she had a gag reflex, which was also
I mean, the hair getting caught in the throat.
no, I don't think so, bro. I don't think bro, if something else isn't gonna gag her, bro, a little fucking hair is not gonna gag, bro. I'm just saying.
A hairball.
So she she starts like licking on me, licking on my armpits, calling me a big bear, and then she tries to kiss me, and like all I'm tasting is my fucking deodorant in my mouth, and I'm just like, you know what?
The Old Spice up in your tongue?
No, not Old Spice, bro. Dove.
Your tongue
Men's
get
Dove.
numb now?
Old
It was
Spice
just
the old Spice is
it was
the best.
weird, bro. It was fucking weird. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Like, so.
What, you didn't have a deodorant fetish?
No, I like deodorant under my armpits, not in my mouth. Just like you don't want semen like in your mouth, you know.
I think it's called snowballing.
Of course, you would know this.
I mean, people know this stuff. I mean,
I didn't know that.
Read a book.
Clearly, it's now a thing.
Read a book.
But yeah, that was probably the last time I talked to that lady or woman. She was a nice lady, but you know.
Is that somebody you ghost? Is that somebody you block? Or is that someone like disqualified already because of that one experience?
That is probably just like a ghoster. Yeah. I'd have to ghost.
Did that person have children or no?
No.
That's an interesting experience. I mean,
women with children is a totally different experience.
I mean, it's a great segue.
Yeah.
Is that for me?
But hold on, what about your experience?
So, I mean, for me, it's not even just one person; it's an entire segment. Divorced brown Muslim with kids from Mississauga.
Yo, you know what? Sorry to cut you, but I did date a brown Muslim divorce. Well, was she? She wasn't divorced. She was just like swinging. Like she's like, my husband knows I'm here. I'm just like,
so there's all types. I mean, there's Islam, the religion, which I'm part of, and then there's of course how Muslims practice, and then there's a whole segment that's emerged. You know, let's say in the Greater Toronto area, probably the Western world, of Muslim women who have had husbands kind of like, you know, leave or flee the country or whatever, go on any Muslim dating app, like Muzmatch or
the
Salam. Yeah, like, and so what happens is, in terms of like, you know, my experience are experience. So in my experience is that we come from a culture and religious background, and I'm not going to sort of throw my religion under the bus, but it does limit our experience because we usually get married without dating, without having sex, without all of that stuff.
Super weird.
Or if we do, which can be weird to people, or if we do, it's always like
this guy.
Muslim dating. It's always like under the table. It's never accepted by family. So you go through these marriages for years and years and years. And then when you get divorced, like me, Muslim man, divorced with 3 kids, and then you encounter Muslim women who the stigma is much higher. And many of them are incredibly accomplished, incredibly educated. They have really high-powered careers. They've rebuilt their life. Many of them are both mom and dad to the kids, or even if the father's around, they're very capable. But they're also very, very particular. As one quoted and told me, we don't want any surprises. We know exactly what we're looking for. So you say the wrong thing, in a chat, gone. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months,
But
gone.
do you know what a surprise? Do you know what is a surprise? Life.
So what happens is they have such a particular notion of what they want in someone that they can like you, they can have great conversations, you can go on great dates, right? But what will happen is if something reminds you of their ex or like a past experience, not even just with their ex-husband, but like a man they've dated since they've got divorced, boom, cut, fired.
Done.
Like you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Remember that
But
show?
that's not only with Muslim women, bro.
No,
That's just with like
it's 100%. But
damaged women.
what comes out of it though is you bring the religious context into it.
Mm.
Is that like there is still whatever we say, even if people are on the liberal strain of Islam, there's always this feeding back into the system towards marriage. So we're all trying to figure it out, right? And like a lot of people are like, yeah, like even if they're going to date you, there's lots of Muslim women who've had boyfriends and whatnot, and Muslim men, but then eventually people will funnel back into where is this going. And I will say this from the Muslim community perspective, it will happen much faster where it's not socially acceptable in most cases to date someone for 1, 2, or 3 years, live together, have sex, whatever. Like this is, we're talking about like 1, 2, 3 months, right? Even at later stages of your life.
You say 1 to 3 months you're getting married?
What I mean is at least that's where it's going, even at this. So what happens is
That's ridiculous. You
divorcees,
can't know someone in a month. You can barely know someone in a year, bro.
Yeah, it goes quick for them, man.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So for divorcees, it's like they want to take the time to know someone, but then at the same time, they also want to be very careful and guarded with their heart. So they're like, okay, I'll take time to get to know you, and I'm coming on these apps, and we're all talking for the purpose of marriage or halal dating or whatever, and then everyone's got their own skeletons in their closet. Like
why can't people just talk to talk?
No, people do talk to talk, but I'm saying when you bring a framework under it, an umbrella, then it's always that discourse is always there. So one of the interesting things I've heard always is it's on repeat. Hey, you sound like a really nice guy. You talk really well, but I just don't think we're that compatible. And it's so amazing because it's
the
not
big
just,
C word.
It's the C word, and you're just like, man, it's so interesting because as a person, you're like, what is, there are periods where you go through like, what is wrong with me? But then you also sometimes have to recognize that it's not to say that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that people have a very particular definition of their mind. Everyone's entitled to their preference and their choice, but it's a pattern.
It's like what happens is like they haven't even given you the chance, but they're already jumping to a conclusion. Right?
And you know what a lot of them say? It's so interesting. They're like, I don't want to waste your or my time. But if you don't spend time, how are you going to know? How are you going to grow?
But do you think this is just superficial mostly?
I think it's, look, everybody is afraid of getting hurt, right?
Yeah.
That's one.
Then just go stand in the closet.
And then the older you get, and this isn't just a Muslim thing, but I'm specifically speaking from the Muslim context, the more picky you get.
That's true.
Right?
That's
the
true.
more picky you get. And it's a weird paradox because everybody's going to have some kind of baggage at this stage of their life.
Yep.
And if you aren't willing to work through some of those things, especially as a divorced person with children, we all got a story, right? The first thing I have to do is unwind to all these Muslim women why I'm not their ex. Well, how are things with your ex? I'm like, listen, man, no offense, we co-parent. I didn't flee the country. I'm not living in some far off place. I'm not in Pakistan and like never see my kids again. So once you have to bring that tension down, you have to go from third to first. I am a person.
But what I don't understand is why is there always a question on like, how did you and your ex break up? Why does that even matter?
Because I think if you look at PTSD, you look at things, they're like, when I was in my 19s, my 20s, I was naive. I went in, maybe it was an arranged marriage, or even if it was a love marriage we met, then I gave up a lot of my life for this guy. I'm not going to do this again.
That doesn't matter. Like it doesn't just literally.
It's not up to you. You can determine that.
Yeah, but it's not like even just in a Muslim faith. Like just because I broke up with my ex over this doesn't mean that I'm going to do the same thing with you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, why does that matter? All you need to know is like, are you still fucking your ex? No, I'm not. How is your relationship? It's good or it's bad. Do I have to worry about her kicking my ass? No, you don't. Those are the questions that people need to be asking, not like, how did you guys break up? Oh, you guys didn't talk? He's not gonna talk to me. Like, what are you talking about? You've already lived and experienced this relationship in your head that hasn't even happened.
Yes.
And why is and how is that on. And how is that fair to me? I'm just trying to know what the fuck you are. Clearly, you're fucked.
It's compounded, and it brings me to the, sort of like the next point is how fast you disqualify someone based upon like the things that cycle through your head, especially when you meet them online in apps. Do you get disqualified in your dating experience from women with children or without, simply because you have children?
Definitely. There is more than enough. I would need my hand, my cock, and yours to count up even a third or even a eighth of the amount of times that as soon as a woman finds out.
Why didn't you say toes?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's more toes than your dick.
I'm just
probably
saying.
has more weight.
You know? Exactly. It holds more value.
Okay, fine. It's worth 10. It's worth 10.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what this shit is in math. I don't like math. But bro, like there's been times like I don't like come out and say, oh, I have children. But because like I like to say, hey, maybe you can get to know me first before you think you're gonna have to take care of my kids, which is not gonna happen unless we get married. And if you can't even handle me having kids, we're definitely not getting married. But either way, like I've been like, hey, we're talking maybe like a week, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go get my kids. Oh, you have kids? Yeah, I can't talk to you anymore. It's like, what? If it was that important and such a disqualifier, that should be your first fucking question. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Do you have kids? Oh, okay. Let's not. Then that's you not wasting our time. Do you know what I mean? You just wasted a week or two of my time. That's my time. It's important to me.
But I don't think you just walk up to someone and be like, "Yo, do you have kids?" Right?
Well, fuck. If it's that serious, maybe they should.
Well, I mean,
do you know what I mean?
I don't think that's like, if they meet you, they're meeting you. They're not meeting you with your kids, right? If they see you with kids and be like, "Are those your kids?" Right?
Just saying.
But if they're just seeing you, it's like, hey, how are you? They're not going to ask you, oh, by the way, do you have kids? No, if it comes up in a conversation, then yeah. Like, but that's something that I throw on the table right when I meet someone. Like, you know what? I have 2 kids. I tell them my situation right away.
My name's Quincy. I got 2 kids, 2 baby mamas.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So Quincy, how do you deliver that message at the beginning? Because you have a very unique situation.
Exactly the way Josh said it.
Lay it down like dominoes.
You got to put it out there.
Just slap it on the table.
I don't want to hold that back, that information, and then next thing you know, I drop it, and then, oh well, I'm not comfortable, right? So that would be a waste of my own time and a waste of her time.
It is a really good point though, because for women especially, like I guess because we're men, we just accept that there's going to be a dad somewhere. In a lot of cases, in fairness, a lot of these dads aren't that great. I'm going to say that. The reason we're doing this,
not usually around.
They're not usually around. They're not whatever. Or if they're around, it's like, it's different. But for a lot of the women, it's I think the thought of raising or being a part of someone else's kid's life can be daunting. And I'll say it's not even like always the single women. Like I've had single women say, really talk and say, you know what? 3 kids sounds like a lot. I wouldn't want to take that on. But I had experiences where like, I've had a woman meet my kids and parents talk and all that good stuff. And I think, and they have a child, and then the thought, like, they've built their life up with their one child. And they're like, oh, well, do I really want more kids? Do I want to give them more of my weekend? And I think one of the challenging things is you have this whole population on all of these apps. Look, every second person is like separated, divorced, has kids, whatnot. How many great people are being passed over simply because we had children with somebody else? Like, are we creating a society where because you don't want responsibility and you think that,
but it's not your responsibility.
But you know what? I gotta say that we're also guilty of passing women over that have children because we don't want to deal with that situation.
That is also true.
The thing is, this may be the best situation for us, right? To date someone that has a child, right? But we ourselves would be like, oh, I don't want to put up with someone else's kids, and I don't want to deal with the baby daddy and this and that. So you go find a single woman, and when you know, a woman that doesn't have children, and then when you get with her, it's like, well, I don't want to put up with your baby mothers. I don't want to put up with your kids, and then you know, it happens to you.
We're just stuck in the fucking middle.
Yeah, but
Catch 22.
But I mean, dating someone that has a child, you know, it could be the best thing to ever happen to you, right?
It's a great point, Quincy, because the majority of the women that I match with, connect with, you know, have children, and I kind of accepted, like, I've got 3 kids, and one of the things is, as you know, divorced, separated, single parents with kids, there's a community of practice. We know what it's all like to have our phone stolen by our child, and you know, not get it back 5 or 6.
I don't.
Well, some of
My
us
kids don't touch my phone, bro.
Some of us do.
They have their own phone.
Or just scheduling, you know, so mine, but they take mine still. So or like scheduling, whatever. We can form a community of practice, and you know, so someone's got a free Saturday morning, and you're like, hey, do you want to go for coffee? And that woman is like, oh, for sure, because I got this block of time. Right. And it's like a solar and a lunar eclipse when your schedules match up sometimes when you're dating, because you got so much going on.
It's more like they understand the situation, right? But it doesn't mean that only I'm not like advocating just for like single women, but like there also are single women that understand your situation.
Yeah, that
right?
is true.
Like I've dated girls that are just like, oh, you're with your kids? Okay, that's cool. Let me know when you're done. Or like, you know what I mean? Like they realize that when you say I got to do something with my kids, it's like, okay, you got to do something with kids. So it's not only the women that have kids that are understandable, because like just like you said, it's like the lunar eclipse sometimes when your schedules line up. It's like you have kids, they have kids. It's like, okay, when do you have time for you guys? Right? Sometimes it depends, right? Like who knows? Living situation, this and that. This kid gets sick, that kid gets sick, work. That it's like it's almost like you have to be like it's like a covert op. Like, okay, meet me here this time, that time. We only got this time. It was great. Love you. Later. Bye. Do you know what I mean? Like
Tom Cruise put that in the next one, Mission
right?
Impossible.
Like I like to just like hang out and chill and like, you know, just fucking cuddle up. And I don't want to have a meetup in the parking lot, you know, Starbucks quickly for a quick coffee. Like,
even if you get the best date, the best experience, you might not get that one for 2-3 weeks
exactly
later on, right? Because you might not get that. And I think one of the things you have with children and women with children, which is the positive side of this, is they are so busy, and a lot of them, the men aren't present in the child's life. So they're like, a man has to really put the work in to show me he's patient enough, so that way, if I were to be with him as a girlfriend, as a fiance, as his wife, as a significant other, he would be patient towards my children. Right. Right. Like, and I think that's a fear. And we all have mothers of our children, and they, you know, who are, you know, in relationships and whatnot. We have that fear. We're like, yo, who is a man entering my child's life? And then for us to step in, it's like, I think the guards are so up. So if it's like a castle, you may get invited in the first day, but you're out the next day. This is a temporary visitor visa, bro. The chambers that are going to be accessible to you, I think this takes, to your point, Josh, this takes time for somebody to trust you. Like, are you someone that would be good around my kids? And if you're not, even if I think you are, but if you show me something in the early stages that I think you're not, man, like you might get disqualified, or secondary, if like if something about your kids, you know, gives them like a red flag.
Well, it's not always just like you coming in to this great situation that you have to qualify for, right?
It's a challenge, man.
It's also a lot of times you're coming in to a broken person, and then as soon as they see something that's like, oh my God, that's like my ex, or oh my God, I've seen this before, you're done.
These are great points because it's not going to look pristine and clean at this stage of our life, right? And I think a lot of our single friends or those of our friends who are in like marriages or relationships for a while, they don't get it, right? They don't understand that we have to accept some of this challenge because other people will have to accept challenge in our lives. You
Yeah.
want somebody resilient, right? Like somebody who could see something like, okay, it's cool, no problem, no problem, babe. No problem, babe. Like it's okay, we'll deal with it next time.
Yeah.
Don't stress about it, right?
Fucking problem solver is what you need.
Right.
That's what I need.
And this, I will say this app dating world has made it disastrous because there's always a man or a woman to the left or to the right. So if something seems wrong, just get back on it. Just get back on it. There's too many options, and then people get overloaded, especially women. They open it up, all this noise comes in their face. Man, you talk to Muslim women, 100 times worse. Here's an interesting thing. As men, we always run on these dating apps or in the popular culture, women talk about some of the negative experiences that have soured them on online dating. Interesting thing, a moment of self-reflection and a segment that we're going to bring in now for our podcast are, the multiple choice moments. Have we ever been the douchebag that women complain about? This is a frank segment. Does any guy out there think they're the bad guy, right? Like, are we the one? Or when you're talking to a woman, you're like, no, that's not me. But if you're really going to reflect as a man, 3 options. Option A, in terms of, have you ever been the one that caused the hurt? A, no, I have never been. B, maybe. C, 100%, most definitely.
Where's the D? Like none of the above.
No, so there is like the D is in your pants, and that might be part of the problem. So Quincy, in terms of the options, what are your where do you range? A, never. B, maybe. C, definitely.
I should say I could say definitely, and I know I've been a pain in the ass in the past. You know what I mean?
This guy over here.
I know I've been a headache. I know I've made some stupid choices. I know in the moment, guys tend not to think, and we go with the moment. And then when the moment is over, you stop and you're like, shit, why did I do this?
Right after?
It could be right after. The chick is ugly. You'll be right after.
Oh my god.
She's ugly.
Definitely not the second coming of Jesus at all.
Yeah.
By the way, in Islam, there's no second coming because he didn't technically die, so it's still the first. But
exactly.
Keep going. You've contributed to some of that hurt.
I can say that I have, and it's part of growing up, man. It's part of gaining experience. It's like you have your first girlfriend, everything just seems perfect, and then something happens, and then you get scarred, and then you take this scar, you just take this further, and then you get into another relationship, and you start thinking like, you know what, this is not going to happen to me again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna spread it to someone else now, right?
Never gonna get hurt again. Never again.
It's like you put up this wall and like, yeah, nobody gonna do this shit to me again. I'll do it to someone else first, and then it just keeps going and going, man. And then
bro,
you just become an asshole, right? But straight, man. And that's what happens, right?
You see, at least felt that hurt. Like I was always like the watcher. I'm like, yo, I don't ever want to feel like that. So I'm just gonna put up this fucking big wall, and bro, I only got one heart, bro, and it's been damaged, and I don't even know how I recover it. I'm still fucking hurt. Like,
I mean,
that's why I kept it hidden for so long. But that in itself caused damage.
But it's as you said, you have to open up. You have to accept in order to be able to give. Right?
Well, bro, recently in the last few fucking years, I've been opening up, but like when you open up to the love, a lot of other shit gets in it, and that shit hurts too, guys.
So have you
like a
been,
vacuum,
Josh?
right?
Have you been A, B, or C?
A, B, or C.
Have you never hurt someone? Maybe
Oh,
possibly.
bro,
Most definitely.
I've left some shattered hearts in the past, but
Like last week.
no,
Okay. Okay.
no. I don't think so. Shit, not that I know of. But I didn't know. Like like if you're always closed, you don't even know if someone else is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't even know how to accept your feelings or your hurt. It's like, oh, I'm hurting. It's like, yo, get over it. I'm over it. You know, because when you're so closed down and shut down, it's almost like a numbness that it's.
But at the same time, you don't want to take on someone else's pain, right?
I couldn't do that either. I don't even know. I didn't know how to like even handle it. Like someone's crying. I'm just like,
no, because you can literally feel, feel the weight, right?
you can.
Like,
You can.
You don't feel that weight when someone
buddy,
is
that's what I'm saying. Like because I know you suck up people's feelings and emotions around you. I'm just like,
oh man,
it's like
ping
ping ping. It's like get away from me. You know, it's like the iron skin. You know,
that stuff is heavy.
I don't like heaviness. I don't like I didn't. You know, I didn't want that. I didn't want like to feel all that because like I'm seeing like, bro, I live with women. I live with women, and like my sister's crying because some guy or like, oh, he hurt me. You know, I loved him, and I'm just like, yo, like, why do you keep doing that to yourself? And she would always just like be like, well, it's if like I have to feel it. Like if I don't put that out there, then I don't get anything back, and I'm just like. I was like, yo, man, hey,
That's what it is.
it is like I'd rather not feel that and do what I'm doing now. But doing that, you know, it left fucking disasters and
But you know what?
rubble of hearts in the past. Which I'm sorry to anybody that I did that to.
Right? You actually stepped up to a whole different level. One that you're not used to.
Not used to it all. Not even just this year, bro. It's been more than
just yeah. Well,
this year was
this year that I could actually really see how it affected you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you walk into your house and you have like a big ass beard. You know,
going through it, bro. It wasn't this year. It was last year. Last year.
Last year.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Last year.
It is. Okay, guys. Okay.
Look at that. He's just running from his feelings.
We have to talk about this too.
I think. Look, I think this is all attached. There's nothing that's. It's all connected like a Rubik's cube, right? Is that what happened with you and your ex is going to take over and whatnot, and things that manifest. And so for me, I can squarely say I'm in the maybe category because any relationship I've been in, I can really acknowledge that some of it's been them and some of it's been me. Where usually I go wrong is the thing I struggle with, especially in this modern era, is a woman has a right to change her feelings about you at any time. Which they do. And it's very challenging. It's like when you're going in one direction and whether it's 1 week, 1 year, 3 months, whatever. And then all of a sudden you go from being like somebody special to nobody. Right. And like, yes, there's a whole other subset of, how we ended with our exes, but this is a different era. I've moved on from that. And so the lash out, that is, I think, where the worst side of me has come out, where it's like you start getting defense. I can say that you get defensive and you lash out, and rather than exiting a situation cleanly, you try to be the elevated person, this intelligent guy, this Muslim person talking about their faith, and then you just start, like as we say earlier, you start saying galis, which are swear words. You just start losing your shit.
All the good stuff goes out the window.
All the good stuff, and then they're like, the women say, "See, this is exactly what I was talking about," right? And you're like,
that's all emotion. That's all emotion. Emotion shuts off a section of your brain that allows you to think logically, man. It messes you up.
Look, and
Yep.
I think, and
But
I think,
it also shows that you care too. Like as much
Yeah,
as you're getting
yeah.
upset, like
and I
if
think
you didn't care what they were saying, you just be like, whatever.
and I think what it is we're always um, victims and perpetrators. Like there's people that we victimize by like shunting the love that they were trying to give us, or we thought we don't want them. And then there's people that we were reaching for that shunted us.
Yep.
And so what happens is like you're praying for the situation where it matches up, but along the way you're causing damage and scars. So it's like the next woman or man, like specifically for us, the women we encounter, even if we're in a current relationship, you're unpacking what the last man did. And if you're that
Yep.
guy to a woman, then the next man is unpacking. So as men, we should stop doing this to each other, really, because the bad guys create the bad women who create the worst men.
But we can't stop that.
What I mean is, as a culture, like in the culture, to have like better like exit strategies or even just better behavior, because what you're saying is we are poisoning the well for all of us out there. Like
it's a circle, you know.
Yeah, it's an ocean
It's
out
like
there.
a circle.
It's an ocean out there, but like an ocean filled with trash, right? And it's so hard to distinguish.
Lake Ontario.
Yourself. Yeah, Lake Ontario, right? Lake Ontario. It's like, whoa, right? And so
I'm not swimming in there.
You might have to spend 4 or 5 months just getting a woman to trust you and detoxify from the last 5 or 6 months she had. Then she can actually talk to you. And how many of us actually want to spend that time? and I think that's where it comes down to. So just as we reflect on sort of where we are, we're not innocent. And I think we can't just walk through this and say, you know, we are, but what we can do is for the next relationships, we can reflect and try to address it better. So at least if it ends or it doesn't, we can exit with our head held high. And if it goes forward, because remember, like as G.I. Joe said, getting into the relationship is half the battle. Staying in the relationship, like whether it's marriage or is the rest of it.
That's the war.
That's the challenge, man.
But even like exiting out of like relationships like lately, like, you know, and you get like, you get that tsunami after like a few days of no conversations, like
the tsunami of text.
Yeah, the tsunami of text. Like, hey,
it's like the wall.
Yeah, sorry. I just got this. Whatever. I don't like you. Whatever it is. That's pretty much it. It should just say. It should just say. Yeah, it should just say I don't like you or whatever.
You know what it is? It's almost like the more polite they're trying to be, the worse.
The worse it is. Like, right? So then, but then I normally would have been like, yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself. I wouldn't say that, but like in my mind,
you feel that for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, go fuck yourself. But even like recently or whatever, not gonna say recently, but you know, since my transformation, you know, like
progress.
It's everything, bro. Life is in progress until you die. Like you can revert, you can fall back off the wagon, you know what I mean, at any time.
Like me with my eating habits.
But oh my god, you gotta get those in check. But anyways, yeah, like I've been like more polite with like the, you know, like, yeah, you know, take care of yourself, this and this and that, like, because you could sour that well real fast. Like there's guys that'd be like, you know what, fuck you, or like try to like force their way back into the situation. Guys that don't know how to take no as an answer. Like I've heard stories where people are getting attacked because they broke up with someone. Like, bro, just find a new person or get therapy. Like clearly you need therapy first before you find a new person.
And the great point is, like, you know, sometimes what happens to people is sometimes at that stage in their life people weren't ready for each other.
No.
And things come around again. But if you've destroyed it, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just don't belong together, man.
It's also true.
You know, you can't force it. If it don't work, it don't work. You can't force someone to be with you.
Yep.
You know,
found out that the hard way as well.
I found out that the hard way too. And I think for me, when you're trying to save, like I'm talking specifically now in the dating sense, like post-marriage, like when you're trying to save something and you're like, oh, you're trying so hard, you're throwing everything at it, and the other person's like, they're trying to figure out it's going to work, but they're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sinking feeling, man, to be on that side of the relationship.
losing hurts, but sometimes you have to take the loss in order
You
to
gotta
move
eat
forward,
that L, man. You gotta bite the
But
word sometimes.
You know,
exactly, and it's like once a woman's changed her mind, bro, or she changed her heart,
that's it.
it's done.
You ain't taking
But
it back unless she.
but like, well, it's probably won't. But by the time you want to come back, you're just like, yeah, no thanks. Like,
Now you're scared to touch it again.
I'm good, thanks.
I mean, it is kind of interesting because like I have my 3 kids because I was rejected the first time, but I can acknowledge that I bore a lot of resentment after that first time. And I think one of the things is sometimes like you're like if you get one person, you get one shot at that, and you better show up when you get that shot because even if a person's gonna come back, it can work sometimes, but it's like those feelings of like resentment of like you broke a trust, right?
Yep.
So I know people like for myself who I've come back to is not the same, and vice versa. There's that word again,
Vice versa.
is that if they came back, like this is why I have like a block delete policy because I don't want to talk to people. I don't want them hanging around my WhatsApp. Like the temptation to talk to them. I want to block and delete you if there's nothing around. I know not everyone feels that way, but I don't want
Nah.
that hey hi 3 months later. Like
But it's happened to you, and you appreciated when it did. When you took my advice, remember?
yeah, I think I moved on from that, but you're right. I think periodically it does happen, but I think we
But
all
just hold on, it's cut you off. Sorry. Just like you said, sometimes at that time they're not ready. Maybe that person could be ready later on, and then reaching out, but you've blocked and delete them.
it's a great point
And
because
you
like
miss out on all that love.
no, it is true because
Yeah, you limit yourself
well,
Mm-hmm.
it's so
make that
interesting
decision,
because going
Should I
back
tell
to
you about that?
going back to a lot of these apps, I've had experiences where whether it's a Muslim app or not, you'll meet a woman that you met there, and then they will tell you, this is not what I want. They won't block and delete you. I want, and then you'll see them like 6 months, 8 months, a year later on back on the same app or a different app,
Always
right?
see the same people on apps.
Yeah, and so what happens is this is part of that that damage that we do. We're all coming off something or someone, right? It could be an ex-husband, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-date, or whatever. And are we willing, whether it's therapy, whether it's a good circle of friends, whether it's medication, are we willing to do the hard work on ourselves to be like, okay, I know I come with some baggage. Let's trade stories. Let's get into each other's lives. And if it's not going to work politely, as much as feelings are going to be hurt, they are going to be. It's going to feel like shit. But then, do I not need to be nasty when I leave? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's important. And yes, I think issues of being monogamous and like not playing people's hearts. Like I still believe, and I'd be old school for this. I don't believe you can get to know a woman unless you're giving her your exclusive attention. If your attention is scattered left, right, and center, um, you're never going to give the best amount of time.
no
And everyone's like,
multitasking. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
like
true.
right,
I will agree on that.
right. And so if you're
But
talking to someone,
you got to also remember that that person may not be doing the same thing for you.
so I'll tell you a
So then you could be like, "Hey, let me give you all my time. Give all my time," and then you're just like, "Hey, where you at?" And
so
they're
I
fucking.
got chewed out by a Muslim woman who first said it was amazing to talk to me, thought about it for a week, and she's like, "You said that you talk to people exclusively," and she's like, "Who are you to think that I would do the same thing?" And I said, "First of all, I never said that about you. I never asked for reciprocity, but she was feeling guilt because that's how I was pursuing." And I said, "Look, I can't get to know you if I'm going to keep giving my time to other people, and this could
Mm.
take months." But for a lot of people, especially people at different stages, some people may have just got on an app and they're liking the attention from 5, 6, 7 people. They want to narrow that down.
7.
Some people are basically like this is their third or fourth go around. Like me, you've deleted and undeleted those apps how many times, right? Like you're like, I'm done with this. Like for me, it's like, so I think what it comes down to is, do you want to get the time to know someone and let that person trust you and them to say, I have faults, right? I have faults.
Mm.
I've made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am a good person and I can keep working on myself and I'd like to work on things. Or are we just as a society going to be in these cycles into our like 40s and our friggin' 50s, right? As dating dads. And I really look at this, like, especially for a lot of the women out there, like a lot of them, and I've seen this with, like, again, specifically my experience with the brown Muslim women, they despair that they're ever going to find someone. And one of the arguments I got into with one was like, she goes, you know, divorced Muslim women know what they want in seconds. I go, is this why you're possibly still single? And she's like, well, I'm not single. I'm like, well, you are, because like you're talking to me here and you've become so brittle and picky. Are you going to be back here in 6, 7 years? Are you waiting for some Prince Charming that's like never going to show up? Right? Like, I'm sorry, because that's how it feels. I'm like, what are you looking for exactly?
But
And
she,
yeah.
no, she, to me, I think she is also limiting herself. She's closing off herself to an extent by saying that. Oh, I know what I want. What if you really don't know what you want? Right?
But it's not all about her though.
That's the thing. But she's already telling you, I know what I want.
It's a
But
very selfish person.
She hasn't given you a chance.
Yeah.
And you could actually be that person to change her way of thinking. You can open up a whole different world for her. But by telling you that she already knows what you want, she's already passing judgment on you.
She's pretty much saying, hey, bro,
you're not good enough.
Fit into this box or get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. No, she's basically telling you, you're not good enough for me. I know what I want, and you're not it. Without even giving you a chance.
And listen, everybody's entitled to that. And again, from my point is, but when it's not just one person, as I say, like my spidey senses are tingling because this is a societal problem. And it comes from the fact of this fake perception of unlimited choice. My university professor used to say, it's like the internet has like, it's wide, but it's not that deep. Right. And what happens is there's so much choice out there, but then you get to like the quality of a person and you're like, there isn't that much quality out there. And you want to say like, look, everyone wants to toot their own horn or whatever. But I feel after 5 or 6 years out in this, like, I feel like I've done some of the hard work on myself. So it's like that patience and not giving in to those notions of despair, especially when like, I think, it's like, it's like when you go for a job interview, like the world's most awkward thing. Like sometimes when they're like, oh, you're amazing, but you're not our candidate. Like, what the hell? Right? And that's what it's like. Oh, politely, it's like, you sound like so amazing, but wish you the best in your, I was like,
you were great, just not for me.
Right.
Thanks for coming out.
And I don't know them. And it's like, can you go from like third to first? Can you become a person? Can you become Nader Shirazi, like Joshua Clark, Quincy Campbell? Can you become a person versus a stereotype or an archetype in their mind? And they become that to us? Like, for example, if a woman...
It's actually, will they give you the time to show them that you're not the stereotype?
It's great. And for example, if at first, like, it's kind of balanced, right? Because both from an Islamic perspective, you don't want to harass women. From a 21st century perspective,
you should never harass women.
You should never harass women. But like the discourse of men has been this, like, try again. You have to respect a woman's boundaries. But what in those cases where a woman, like, she doesn't say no, but she doesn't say yes? It's kind of like we still are connected online. It's like, but it's like paused for now. Right? Like what?
It's in progress.
Maybe she's feeling out someone else.
Exactly.
And then it's like, you know what? Let me double back to this guy.
Yep. This happens on apps all the time. You get the hello, they're holding, and they'll circle back in like 4 or 5 days. We do it too, but it's very interesting. Like when you're having a conversation, let's say you get off the app and you get into WhatsApp, and then like you're talking, it's going great, and then what happens is silence for 2 or 3 days. Right?
You know what? Everybody's guilty of that shit.
Or the opposite. Or the opposite. You're just like, hey, good morning or whatever. And then it's like 3:00. Hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. And then like 2 days later, then it's like, you get a good morning. Hey, good morning. How's it going? What are you doing? What are you about? Tell me about yourself. Da, da, da. It's like, did you just get dumped?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Did you just get dumped, yo? Or what's going on?
She just finished answering all the other messages on the list.
Yeah.
Quincy, you've nailed it. And I will say this is specifically more of a woman's problem, because if a woman's on an app, she will be getting more messages than we will be getting.
We should definitely get a woman's perspective on this.
And so right. just for the audience, we will be doing a part 2 of this, and we'll be bringing in a very special person to the group. We'll be bringing in Michelle, who's if you go to brolitfactory.com, she's the 4th member. And
she's our very special person.
She's our very special person. And without her, we couldn't do this. All the great graphics, all the great content. But more than that, there's 3 men here. And sometimes we need a woman's perspective.
Some softness in here, a little more emotion.
And she'll surprise you.
But she's not always that soft though. So don't get twisted.
So what we're gonna do is, this is sort of the end of part 1. And for our next podcast, we'll be talking about dating, dating dads, but we'll also be talking and getting a perspective of women. What do women encounter out there on the internet, in this world? What does it feel like? What are things men don't understand? Why are they so guarded? What have we done to contribute to that? So, like I said, this is Natter. That's my man Josh.
Oh, we're done? Bye.
That's my man Quincy. Signing off this week, the B Unit.
Come on, man. Just stop that shit.
Didn't work.
Brothers.
Hey, hold on, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. You go check out the YouTube video, check out the Spotify, check out the Twitter, check out the Instagram, BroLitFactory.com, BroLit Factory Inc. Check it all out. Ring
Debating
that bell.
Dads.
Debating Dads, #1. Ring that bell.